Share Fantastic Travels and Resorts Limited is so thrilled to be bringing Ghana closer to Jamaica. Yep, you heard it right. We will be departing the 24th of May all the way through to June 1. We will be in Accra, Ghana. Save the date. This is your opportunity to fly direct, one cost, air, transfers, hotels, meals, accommodation, and absolute fun day and night tours throughout Accra, Ghana. Oh my goodness, this is awesome, epic, wonderful. Are we ready to go to Africa? Let's talk more action. Africa, here we come. The Sweet Life Travel Podcast takes pleasure in introducing today Grace McLean. And I want to start by saying, even though Grace functions as a financial advisor, I knew her from another space and time, a good space, a good time, and always valued her in that capacity as the manager of an entity where I really had great business dealings. So we're going to uncover a lot of stuff today going forward. And I will allow, and I'll start at the beginning, I'll allow Grace to introduce herself to us, to tell us who she is, a bit about her life, and also her journey into financial services. And of course, we will top it up with travel because that's what we do.
Thank you so much for having me on your podcast, Sharon. It is indeed a pleasure to be here. Yes, I am a financial advisor and I work at BPM Financial Limited. I have years of experience working in the commercial banking sector as well as in merchant banking. And I have very fond memories of working in the hotel sector, the travel sector. Yes. And I have many clients today in the hotel sector as well. And I am as well a network marketer. Yes, and I remember the network marketing days, Sharon. That's where I met you. And so it is indeed my absolute pleasure to be here. And how could I forget my years in the insurance industry, which took me sightseeing across Jamaica?
It's always so good to reminisce, to look back, Grace. And of course, you're one of my favorite people at Symmetry Trinidad Limited. The thing that I loved about you was that you were very attentive to the needs of the clients and you were always about fixing problems. And so, I remember even when there were occasions that warranted intervention, the word was speak with Grace, she'll get it done. And so it's important as we move through life that our reputation goes along with our names, eh?
Funny you should say that, Sharon. It brings me back to my years at NCB. I remember working in the letters of credit department, and I had a supervisor who taught me, everything she knew. And I recall one day I was leaving to go to class because I was attending classes at CAST, now UTech. And she said to me, you can't go to class now because there's an urgent letter of credit to go out. So I have to send off a telex that night. And I had to stay behind and send that telex off because she said to me, if there was a power cut, an island-wide blackout, it would be on my head. Because those days we used to have frequent power cuts in Jamaica. And she said, if there's an island-wide power cut, it would be on my head. And so I felt like it was my responsibility that I had a national interest now. So it is a national responsibility to get this done. And so I had to sacrifice classes. And it happened more than once. So I know, what it is to live above self in that way, to ensure that see the bigger picture and how what you do impact others. And so when I left NCB and when I went to the hotel sector, my skills were honed then in customer service, because you were trained over and over again in customer service, in hospitality. And I recall when I was at Wyndham, we were taught that if a guest comes to you with a problem, you have to own that problem. So it's your responsibility to see that that problem gets solved. It didn't matter if it was not your duty. It didn't fall under your area of responsibility. That problem becomes yours. You own it the moment that that guest reports it to you. And so that stayed with me wherever I went to work after that. That remains with me, that I have a responsibility to solve any problem that comes to me. So I became solution oriented. And even when I decided that I was going to leave the hotel sector, it didn't happen because I wanted to leave. I did not even apply for a job at the time when I actually left. But an offer was made to me by a guest. And this guest wasn't a Jamaican. He was from Trinidad, staying at the hotel for a week, had an event at the hotel, and he worked for an international company, that's Symmetry International. And he observed me at work for a whole week, unknown to me. And then he made me an offer, a management position at his company in Jamaica, because he said that he saw where I solved a problem for the company, and how he was able to observe me working with other clients, with other guests. And so he was impressed with that.
It's interesting as you're recounting those experiences, and curious, that it seems as though we have journeyed in similar circles as I listen to your thoughts about being in the banking industry. I had a flashback that I've had several stints in the banking industry, much to my surprise. Some of them I have kind of put to the back of my brain. But yes, I have had a stint or two or maybe more, and lessons learned have stayed with me. I think there are some of us who were trained by individuals who were of the old school, and the golden nuggets that they deposited became part and parcel of the personality traits that we take with us and display wherever we go. So yeah, interesting. And there's so many things I want us to talk about. But before we continue to dive into the professional side, tell me about Grace. Grace the girl. Grace the youngster growing up in Jamaica. What was that experience like?
Okay, I grew up in Spanish Town. I grew up in a large family with my stepmother and my father. And I really enjoyed my childhood, I must say. And I attended Dintil Technical High School. I never wanted to go to a technical high school. I wanted to go to high school, and I wanted to go to high school in Kingston. And I never sat common entrance because there was an issue with my birth certificate at the time. And but when I look back at my life, I realized that Dintil was the right school for me. It helped to shape who I am today, and I don't regret 1 minute of attending Dintil Technical High School. I have absolutely no regrets. I do believe that we are placed at the right place at the right time, and you bloom where you are planted. I definitely believe in that. And so I have absolutely no regrets attending this wonderful and great school called Dintil Technical High School.
Now, Grace, I know that you had some tertiary education packed in under your belt. Did this happen upon exiting Dintil, or did you get into the hotel industry, work for a while, and like many of us Jamaicans, pursue our studies or our further studies during our adult years? Walk me through that if you don't mind.
Yes, my tertiary years started at Excelsior Community College, where I did secretarial studies. And funny enough, I did not apply for secretarial studies at Excelsior Community College. I applied for the Association of Accounting Technicians program. But on the day that I should have started classes for that program, I realized that I was actually placed in the secretarial studies group because Excelsior Community College did not have enough persons registered for the AAT, that's the Association of Accounting Technicians program. And that was a challenge for me because I've never done typing or shorthand at high school. I did agricultural studies at high school, and accounting was a part of that course. And I loved accounting and decided that was what I wanted as a career. And but after leaving EXED, I attended the College of Art, Science and Technology, and that's where I pursued AAT. That's the Accounting Association of Accounting Technicians certification. That's what I applied for at CAST. That's what I studied at CAST. After leaving CAST, I attended the Institute of Management and Production. That's IMP then, no UCC. I did marketing, a diploma in marketing. I also did a diploma in public relations. I also attended Karimak where I did article writing. I did poetry writing as well at Karimak, and I did also public relations at Karimak. Those were interesting years that developed my writing. I honed my skill as a writer through Karimak.
Wow, Grace, that is very impressive. So I can see, even though at the time you would not have known it, you're segueing into becoming the host of a podcast was already being created, being etched. So yes, awesome. And as a matter of fact, as we have touched on podcasting, let us talk about your podcast. I remember the excitement that filled me on that day that I saw your first episode being made live. And while I did some housework, I just sat and took it all in. It was so good. You need to talk to us about podcasting and you need to tell us what's next. When is the next one coming out? Or did I miss it?
Thanks, Sharon. You know, there's a scripture that says, many are the plans in a person's heart, but the Lord's purpose will prevail. And I truly believe that. Many years ago, I did a course in public speaking and speech writing, and I made a decision that I want to be an international speaker and a best selling author. And I didn't know anything about podcasting until about 2 or so years ago. I was introduced to podcasting. And I said, yes, this is interesting. This sounds like it will help me in terms of the direction I want to go as an international speaker. And I host a radio program on financial literacy. It's a weekly program on radio. I do that on behalf of the company I work for, BPM Financial Limited. But I wanted to differentiate myself. I wanted to have my own stamp on a program that represents my own initiative, that has my signature to it. And so Living Above Self was born. That's a podcast that I host. It's a weekly podcast. And so each week I interview persons whose lives have impacted the lives of others persons whose lives have made a difference to communities, to the lives of those around them. Persons who have seen their lives grown as a result of the growth mindset that they have. So when you have a mindset that's above self, you are able to grow and grow tremendously, and you are able to make significant difference in the world around you. And so that's what the podcast is about. It has a financial feature because we need to grow financially. We need to shift, have that paradigm shift from a poverty mindset to a growth mindset, to a prosperity mindset. And then we need to motivate ourselves. We need to inspire ourselves. We need to have that, develop that habit, make that shift, take action, So motivation is temporary, but habits are life forming. And so we want persons to, when they listen to the podcast or when they watch it on YouTube, because I have it also on YouTube, so you can go on YouTube and also watch it, is to inspire people into action, is to taking action, not just being hearers of the word, but as the scripture says, being doers of the word as well.
Oh boy, Grace, that is just absolutely wonderful. And it's funny how like personalities seem to attract, because totally unknown to you, I'm sure, is the fact that I've always wanted to travel the world. I've always wanted to address large groups of people from huge stage presence, doing all kinds of things. There was a time when I thought, maybe I'll just be a translator for somebody who travels the world and does that. But lately, the thought narrowed itself to becoming an international speaker. So, hey, there you go. Not to mention the books that I have authored that are yet to see the light of day, but that's for another story. So, this is just amazing. Particularly pleased with the journey that you're on, and we prepare, and preparation, when met with the opportunity, will bring great results. So, yes, I look forward to all of those dreams coming true. And being a travel podcast and focusing on fun. That's who we are, Share Fantastic Travels and Resorts Limited. It's a world of fun. I want you to talk to us about travel. I get from you that you love to travel. I'd love to have your take on a travel experience or a set of experiences that just sit in your mind and bring a smile to your face every time you pull that memory up. Talk to us about that.
Yes, Sharon, traveling is your forte, and I must say that I too enjoy traveling. My job has taken me all over Jamaica over the years, and I have enjoyed every minute of it, just traveling and staying at the different resorts, staying at the different villas, and even traveling overseas. I just enjoy traveling, whether it's in Jamaica or I'm traveling overseas. I enjoy traveling, and I want to say that my dream of being an international speaker, that's part of it, to enjoy traveling, to be exposed to other cultures, meeting other people. I love meeting people. I love to learn from other people, going into new territories. I enjoy that, and I love Jamaica. I think Jamaica is beautiful, and so I want to spend time at the different resorts. I remember traveling from the north coast to Kingston, and when I look at nature, when I look even at the place that I stayed, I said, you know what, I want to stay at a different location. Once per month I need to stay for a weekend at a different villa or a different resort right here in Jamaica. So I have that as part of my dream, to stay at a different resort every month, a different location, because Jamaica has so much to offer. So much beauty is here. I enjoy the beach. I just enjoy traveling and meeting people. And as the scripture says, the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. And let us enjoy what the Lord has made for us. He give all things to us richly to enjoy.
I love the fact, Grace, that your focus is on Jamaica because, generally when home is that beautiful place, you're always looking outwards. And my bucket list of things to discover, things to do in Jamaica, they are so expansive, so extensive that I am in just such a haste to get them done. I remember there's this little property in Portland, just next to the Luminous Lagoon. Can't remember the name now, but I do have their brochure. Got to stay there, got to stay there. And oh my goodness, I could talk about Jake's on the beach. Still haven't stayed there. Somebody would ask me, why? I would answer, I don't know. And then, oh my goodness, I could just go on and on and on. But I want you, my dear, to tell me one spot that blew your mind, a cuisine that you had there that was just absolutely mouth-wateringly tantalizing, something that turned your life upside down, whether something you saw, something you sampled, something you learned. Do tell.
I'll start with the food first. Seafood. For me, seafood, my favorite places for seafood would be Hellshaw in Portmore and Jolly's in Portmore. In terms of beaches, Winifred Beach in Portland stand out for me. And 7 Miles Beach in Negril. In terms of accommodation and hospitality, I would say the Grand Palladium Hotel as well as Grand Bahia Principe. And Navy Island is one of the places I loved. I really, really love Navy Island, and I would encourage anybody who has never been to Navy Island to take a visit to Navy Island. You really should.
Ah, Grace. You touched on one of my properties that for me has been home away from home for such a long time. As a matter of fact, since they opened back in 2008. And it's still my go-to property just to let my hair down, relax, just be lazy. And I tell you this, it is an excellent location during pandemic times because socially distant opportunities abound. And yes, you guessed it, the Grand Palladium. Ah, it's been a wonderful time just sharing space with you, Grace. And there's so much more to say. There's so much we need to do together. But we're going to wrap this up today just by saying there's so much to do, so much to enjoy, so much to learn. And really, we're not as different as we think we are, and travel really brings that together for us. So as we take our exit, Grace, I want you just to speak to our audience and remind them about coverage, securing themselves, their families, their financial situation, and how they can get in touch with you, of course.
I'm so happy that you mentioned insurance coverage and financial security because the latest episode of my podcast, Living Above Self, challenges listeners not to fear investing during the pandemic. And so the feature focused on managing risks during the pandemic. It looks at having an emergency fund. And if you have an emergency fund, now is the time to review the emergency fund. Do you need to add to your emergency fund at this time? It also looks at retirement planning. Do you have a retirement plan? Now is the time to review your retirement plan. And if you don't, now is the time to examine your options in terms of planning for your retirement. We also looked at insurance coverage. Do you have enough insurance? Or are you paying too much for life insurance? So, those are the things that are examined in my podcast. We also look at planning ahead in terms of long term investments, looking at investing in the stock market. How can you grow your money long term to create wealth? So, those are the issues that are examined in Living Above Self in the Grow Your Money feature. Now, my podcast is hosted on this website called buzzsprout.com. That's buzzsprout.com. Buzzsprout.com. That's the name of the website that hosts my podcast, Living Above Self. Now, in terms of where I work full time, I work at BPM Financial Limited. We have offices at 1A Holborn Road in New Kingston and also at Shop 19 Sajiko Commercial Center. I'm located at the Kingston office. And if you want to find me, you can go to BPM Financial website. The website's name is bpmfinancial.com, and you will see all the information, contact numbers, and all the products and services that BPM Financial offers. If you want to grow your money and beat inflation, contact BPM Financial Limited. All right. Thank you so much for having me on your program, on your podcast. I love traveling and all of that, Sharon, and I look forward to great things, great partnership with you and your podcast. Thanks again for having me.
It's been truly a pleasure hanging out with my dear friend Grace McLean, and we have had quite a journey together. But this is only the beginning. So much to know, so much to do. And all in all, do not forget, good people link you with good people. So for all your financial servicing needs and just for a consultation, reach out to Grace. Good people to deal with. This has been the Sweet Life Travel Podcast brought to you by Share Fantastic Travels and Resorts Limited. It has been a wonderful experience, great time of sharing over here, and you need to check out all of our podcasts. We are available everywhere podcasts are established. You can listen to us on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Spotify is now in Jamaica, guys. So stream, stream, stream. We're having lots of fun. But at this juncture, we're going to catch it. We're going to pause for now until our next episode. Ciao for now.